Speedrunning is quite often a solitary activity, with one runner, their grind, and their audience watching this in real time. And while most speedrunners are happy doing this alone, plenty of speedrunners want to show off their runs to a new audience while at the same time helping a good cause through some of the many speedrunning marathons that are going on at all times. But to get in many marathons, one does quite often not just have to be an amazing speedrunner, but also a good commentator, or knowing a good commentator who can commentate the run for them and show that often as video submission. In today's video, I will not talk about how to improve your speedruns, but how to make a good marathon submission video. This video assumes nothing else than that you have at any one time performed a speedrun that you are happy with and want to submit to a speedrunning marathon. So if that is your goal, you have came to the right place. With this said, let us get into the video. As speedrunning has become more and more popular over the years, more people have started to speedrun themselves. This means that the competition to get into a speedrunning marathons have increased significantly. To get into a marathon, any marathon, it is rarely enough to just have a good run. You also need to submit a good submission video. But what makes a good submission video is a little hard to tell and is quite different from what makes a good speedrun. To begin with, let us start by mentioning the, in my opinion, 4 most important bullet points for a good submission video, which are going to be the main points of this video. Describing commentary, engaging commentary, no profanity, and finally, marathon safety. Let us begin going through the most important one of these 4, which is describing commentary. More often than not, the goal of a speedrunning marathon is to show off the speedrun of the game to an audience of people who are more than likely not entirely familiar with the game in question. This means that the commentary needs to be a little more describing than normal. When a speedrunner normally speedruns a game, they do rarely need to describe the details of the run, as most in the audience are familiar with the run, and those who are not are happy to ask, and you as the runner can quite easily respond to their question. This is not the case in a speedrunning marathon though. Not even if you play a very popular speed game, and especially not in a bigger marathon or if you play a less known game. The thing is, a lot of people only ever watch speedruns during speedrunning marathons because they want the finished runs, not the PB grind, which quite often means that a lot of the stream will just be the runner resetting to the first quarter of the game over and over again. For these people, to watch a marathon run where they are almost guaranteed to see the runs to their end is the optimal way to consume speedrunning content, and with marathons happening almost every single weekend nowadays, there is plenty of content for them to watch to the point that they will be able to enjoy speedrunning content at most times without having to watch someone on their PB grind. For this audience, although a core audience, most of the tricks in your particular run are unknown, or it might have been a long time ago any of them heard about them. Which means that to this crowd, it is very fun and entertaining to hear the runner go through how a specific trick works and why they are using the strategies to use. A good rule of thumb here is to explain your run as though you are talking to another knowledgeable gamer who plays other games, but knows nothing about the game you are running, rather than you trying to explain to your non-gaming relatives or another fellow runner of the game. Feel free to use gamer lingo to make them feel like part of the in-group, but when describing things specific to your game, keep it simple and clean while still explaining enough to make the audience understand what is going on, as this is the kind of commentary many marathons are looking for, and will strongly favor if you display in your commentary. Now on to the next half of the commentary, the engagement. This is a little hard to put your finger on and will depend a lot on your personality, as you should not create some fake hype persona for your marathon submission videos. However, generally speaking, do not put on the stone face like a lot of runners do during a good run. Keep the commentary flowing, nothing kills the mood more than long random periods of extreme silence. As if you need to be silent for hard parts such as a long menuing section where even a slight error can cost minutes, either have a cool commentator or hype it up. Hype it up throughout the run as that one hard part that everyone in the crowd looks forward to. Keep in mind that people enter and leave the runs as it goes on, So do semi-regularly reminders early on in the run, and as you get closer to it, make it a little more regular. And the final time, go through in detail what you need to do so that everyone knows what's happening. Not too much though, to the point that there is no other commentary. Keep the commentary flowing as I said before, and do not interrupt it when there is other commentary to have. And once you get to the hard trick, say something like, "Okay everyone, this is the moment of truth we have been waiting for," and turn silent as you do the hard part, and leave the crowd on their seats rooting for you. And once you're done, you describe once more what you did, what you were happy with, and what you were less happy with. Use that moment of silence to build up the hype for the explanation. Throughout the rest of the run, never be afraid to hype things up either. While to you and most of your core audience, getting to the final boss is not a big deal, but to the people who are watching this game being played for the first time, getting shown the final boss is indeed a huge deal. Feel free to sprinkle in some of the important key points of the story to keep the audience up to date with what happens in case the game is story heavy. And the final bullet point about the commentary: avoid profanities and other weird stuff. Yes, a lot of marathons have started to be way more lenient with this during the runs, and you will not exactly get muted and warned for swearing once in the middle of your runs anymore in many marathons. However, most marathons are backed by charities, and some charities cares a lot about these kind of things. So therefore, if you swear during your submission video, it can do nothing but harm your chance of getting approved, as marathon organizers would rather take someone who they can trust won't swear than someone who can't even avoid swearing their submission video. To avoid swearing is an easy thing to do to improve commentary, and if you do intend to run in speedrunning marathons, especially larger ones, swearing is a habit you kinda have to get rid of eventually. The final bullet point isn't so much about the commentary as the gameplay. What is important to keep in mind here is that a marathon submission video is not a PB video. No one cares what your final time is, but how likely you are to reach your estimate with the strats used. For marathons that are caring an awful lot about how you are doing on leaderboards, spoilers alert, marathons cares less about this than you think. They will look at speedrun.com or whatever leaderboards are relevant for your game to get that data, not your submission video. What they care about is if the run is clean, how well it highlights the game, and how likely you are to meet estimates. As someone who has ran in a lot of marathons, I can tell you this. Nothing is more annoying than schedules running far behind and runs having to be cancelled for delayed schedules due to the fact that runners each have specific time slots when they are expected to run and therefore might plan their weekends around being busy for that specific time slot. If every single runner would then start submitting highly optimistic estimates that they end up missing by far, it can cause a lot of problems for both the organizers and for other runners, and it's therefore not sustainable, so therefore avoid very risky strategies in your submission videos and estimates. An estimate is that, an estimate, and it should be very lenient on you as a runner so that people can assume that you 99% of the time finish within this estimate. There is a reason why some runs have what is referred to as marathon safe routes, which are often routes that removes RNG and high risk tricks that if they fail can lose minutes, at the expense of being unviable as a route to get a PB or world record. While of course it is not good to be too far ahead of estimate either, that is far more easy to work around and you have to be a lot ahead of estimate before it becomes a huge problem, as it's often easier to add 5 minutes to the preparations and waiting for the next round than to remove 5 minutes from it. And marathons does have a bunch of backup runs ready in case something like this happens. With this information, you should now be able to make some very good marathon submission videos. I do really hope this video was useful to you and that you will make it into the marathon you were looking to get into with the help of these advices. If you have any tips for runners who are looking to make a submission video for speedrunning marathons, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Also, if you like this content and want more speedrunning and gaming related content in the future from me, please feel free to press that cute little subscribe button. If you're looking to get a better balance between performing runs and practicing your speedrunning schedule, please feel free to watch the video to the left. If you would rather watch some speedruns to relax after an intensive lesson, might I tempt you with the first ever sub 4 in Bleed 2 Endless Normal to the right? Whatever you feel like watching next, I hope you have an amazing day. Plenty of hugs, stay cute, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!